Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I recently got this really cool gunmetal color skinny tumbler from the Tipsy Magnolia, and I was super inspired and I wanted to make something. Here's kind of what the bottom would look like if we finished it like I did with this ColorShift tumbler. So I do want to leave some of that gunmetal color exposed. That's why I'm using it. And I'm also going to use these beautiful new UV DTFs that I just got in my shop, and of course my favorite medium, as you guys know, alcohol inks. I know we've done quite a few alcohol inks tumblers on the channel, but it's my favorite, so that's what we're doing. I'm going to start by taping off my tumbler with some electrical tape, because remember, I do want to leave some of that gunmetal at the bottom exposed. I ran a strip of electrical tape along the bottom rim, and now I'm going to put it through my edge trimmer. Once we've gone all the way around the cup with the edge trimmer, we're going to remove the excess tape along the top of that cut line that we just created to get a nice crispy edge. Once we've got the bottom taped off, I'm going to go ahead and sand all of the areas that we're going to be painting and epoxying. You don't have to really sand too hard. We just want to rough up the surface to prep. This is just 80 grit sandpaper that I've wrapped around an old sanding block. Any sandpaper between 60 to 220 grit would work. I will put some videos down below to help you understand taping off the bottom of your tumbler and prepping if you need some help with that. Once we've got our tumbler prepped, I'm going to put my arm in. I will link those blue flower foam chucks that I used inside my cup that holds it onto the arm. I got those on Amazon and I love them. Now we're going to go and spray paint our base. So I'm using my favorite Rustoleum 2x flat white paint. Very important not to skip this step and not to get a different kind of paint. We really want to have a flat white painted surface to do our alcohol ink painting technique. Once my paint is dry to the touch, I'm ready to get started on my painting. It was really important to me that the alcohol ink colors that we're painting with really match the colors in this UV DTF sheet. So I'm going to start by testing some of my alcohol inks on this tester cup that I use. This is just an old tumbler that I've had that I painted with the same paint that I always use when I do alcohol inks. And I just swatch each color that I think I want to use for my project and write what the name of it is next to that color swatch with some pencil. I've decided on a few colors here, and I am going to list all the colors that I'm going to be using in this video down below in the description box. I'll also have a link on where you can get them along with a discount code. Once I've decided on my colors, I'm going to pour them into my little alcohol ink palette that I have. I will link this down below as well. It's super helpful. If you don't have one of these palettes, you can just drop your alcohol inks into some medicine cups or maybe even like a paper plate that you have. They'll stay moist during the time that you're painting with them. They're not going to dry up super fast, so you don't need to worry about that. Using just a cheap old paintbrush that I have, I'm going to start dabbing the ink directly onto the cup, starting with the lightest color first. What I'm trying to establish is kind of a sunset look, so I'm going to start with this beautiful yellow down here at the bottom. You'll notice that before I tap the color onto the cup, I blot my brush onto a paper towel just to remove any excess ink. I also want to test the saturation of color. If you want to lighten your color, you can just dip in a little bit of clean rubbing alcohol. So you'll notice that I have those two little cups in the right hand corner of your screen. Those are just 91% rubbing alcohol. And I have a couple of different clean cups like that. I have one for dark colors and I have one for light colors. I also have multiple brushes for all of the multiple colors that we're using, so I don't mix up colors and get things looking muddled or messy. Every time I move into a new color, I make sure to go back and pull that new color down into the old one to kind of mix and blend it. It's going to be really hard to get like a really smooth blend of colors with alcohol inks. You're more so going to end up with what looks like kind of a bubbly watercolor kind of look, and that's really what I'm going for. This is obviously a very abstract version of a sunset, and I imagine all those kinds of bubbles and lines in there as like clouds and whatever, but yeah, you get the idea. So we're going to continue this process all the way up around the cup. If there's a part that looks a little too muddled or weird or too much like bubbly looking watermark lines, I'll just go back with some plain rubbing alcohol from my clean cup, dab off a lot of the excess alcohol, and then go in and pat that clean alcohol along the lines of the alcohol ink, and that will actually kind of soften those lines a little bit and make it blend just a little bit better. Once I've made it about halfway up the cup or my painted gradient with all my light colors, I'm going to start on my darkest colors up towards the top. That way, as we lighten down to meet somewhere in the middle, I'll have a better picture of what kind of color saturation I'll need to match with whatever my lightest colors ended with in the middle. I hope that all makes sense. It's kind of just I don't know if that you would call this like an intuitive painting style. It's kind of just, I'm tapping on color where I think it makes sense. I also kind of pulled down some of that gray color all the way down into the pink color, because if you look at our UV DTFs, that gray color and that mauve pink are two primary colors. And I wanted to look like the sky and those clouds were going to be coming down from the top of her head. The little UV DTF lady sticker that we're going to be putting on there. So that's why I kind of pulled that down. And periodically while I'm painting this, I would just put my UV DTF up against my painting to see where I wanted to add more color to help blend those UV DTF decals later on. You'll see here that I'm extending out what I want to be my most dominant color, which is that kind of pink and mauve. And I'm just extending it out into some of the other color sections just to add more of it here and there. I lightened up that navy blue when it came down to where it meets with that pink, so that'll be more of like a muted purple color where they meet together. It was very hard to blend those two colors without it looking messy, so just a heads up there. And of course, when in doubt, just add more rubbing alcohol. I learned that from Nicole Merritt, and it really helps. So like if you ever see a section that you don't like, just grab your paintbrush with some clean rubbing alcohol, blot off the excess, and go over it again until it looks a little bit better. Anyway, we did that process all the way around the cup, and I let it dry overnight, and I did not seal my inks. You don't need to seal them. In fact, I would prefer not to, so that we don't risk the ketones discoloring our inks. So this actually dried for a solid 12 hours, and I am putting my first coat of epoxy over it. I'm just going to use my Flynn Sisters Fast Cure here as a building layer. So once I've got my epoxy spread on there nice and smooth, I'm going to hit it with my propane torch to pop any remaining bubbles. I am also going to finally remove my tape at this time. And if we got any excess epoxy down there on the bottom of the cup, we could just clean that up really quick with some rubbing alcohol and paper towel. I'm going to let this dry for at least 4 hours before we move on to the next step. And remember that your dry time may vary based on the brand and type of epoxy that you're using. Once that coat was totally dry, I'm going to apply my UV DTF decals. I really, really loved this image set, and I was so inspired. I couldn't wait to get it onto a cup, and I love how this UV DTF blends with these colors of the painting just perfectly. Once I've got the lady down here on the bottom towards the front, I am going to put the moon decal on the opposite side. Next, I'm going to be adding kind of this hand-painted jewelry detail in the sky. And to do that, I'm going to use a rubber band as my guide. So think of hand painting a string of beads in a necklace shape, I guess, and using the rubber band to be our guide to place that first string of beads so we have the right arch and it's nice and even. And you can mess around with that rubber band as much as you want. Once you have it in place to the size and angle that you want, you're just going to go in with a fine tip metallic gold paint pen and I'm going to hand dot all the little dots of that string of beads that's hanging down. And we're going to layer this and add little details kind of similar to how you would do dot painting or mandala. And you can add as much little details as you want. I've added some stars and moons that I've cut out with my Cricut with some textured metallic vinyl. I will link the vinyl that I use down below in the description box. And you just want to really take your time with this. Don't paint too close to the rubber band because your paint will bleed underneath the band. And if you make a mistake, no big deal. It's very easy to just wipe it off with some rubbing alcohol and paper towel. It's important that we don't do this before epoxy, because if you mess up, you risk messing up that beautiful alcohol ink painting that you worked so hard for. And the alcohol inks tend to bleed and discolor paint markers when you paint directly over them. So that's why I like to put a layer of epoxy between first before we do all this design work. After I've placed that first string of beads, I'm just going to remove my rubber band and start on a next one. Before you start on your next string of beads, make sure that the first one is completely dry. You could speed up your dry time using a heat gun, just don't overheat it and risk melting your epoxy. I also use this flat ruler that holds a flat straight line against my cup. I will link this ruler down below in the description box. And I use that to just place straight lines of beads hanging down from the curved lines of beads to add some really fun detail. And I just repeated this process all the way around the cup, layering those strings of jewels until I felt like it looked full enough. I didn't want to add too much because I didn't want it to get too busy. Also, in hindsight, I probably would have done this with a white marker instead of gold, so it would stand out a little more, but I still think it's really pretty. Every time that I wanted to add a new layer of string of jewels, or I don't even know what to call this, but you just go again with your rubber band, making your rubber band go down as low or as high up as you want to create some interest and depth. And then just dot along your rubber band. Again, really make sure that you're not dotting too close to that rubber band because the paint will go under that rubber band and bleed and look messy. Once I was done with all the gold jewelry detail, I started adding in the stars. I did white stars up towards the top and then black stars down towards the bottom to match the black star details that were shown in the moon decal. Now that we're done with all that hand painting and design work, we can start on our final coats of epoxy. You'll notice that I did not replace my tape for these final coats. That's because I'm going to bring the epoxy down below the edge of our paint line there so that some of our epoxy ends up adhering to the exposed stainless steel that we have down there along the bottom rim. I'm going to wipe any excess from the very bottom of the cup where it doesn't need to be, and then I'm going to hit it with my torch to pop any remaining bubbles. I'm going to link a video down below in the description box that will give you more information on how and why I sometimes tape off the bottom of my cups and to kind of give you a better understanding on how to finish them that way. And that's it, you guys, for this tumbler. I mean, super easy. Not really. It was a little bit tedious, but I love the results. Absolutely beautiful. The jewelry detail I had so much fun doing, and I'm going to probably try that on a few other different cups. I just think it's such a fun detail to add in, and it's really not that hard, especially when you use those rubber bands as your guide to kind of lay out the bones of the design. Then you're just adding in the fun details after that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every week, or at least when I have time. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. If you love that last video, you can check out the next one here, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for more great content. You can shop our products at FlynnSistersSupplyShop.com and subscribe to our channel for new videos every week. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.